Hello YouTubers and welcome back to another video. This video is going to be split in parts and I hope it reaches more people. So we'll be covering the video in English, Hindi, both languages, and the video will be split between international news, domestic news, the news about ancillaries of renewable energy, the news about EVs, and the news about research and development. So there will be 4 videos on this weekend, so the video is not as long as it used to be in the past month. The videos were 40 minutes long and it were not reaching more people, so we have decided to split the videos based on the categories of the news, and this is how it is going to be for this month. So we'll be trying out with a reach, and I hope it reaches more people and more people like the format of our video coverage. So let's get started with the video with a cheers, keep hydrated and drink water. Hello YouTubers and welcome back to another video. In this video, this is part 3 of the video series that we have started, where we are dividing the videos in categories. So this is part 3 of the video that is for week 1, July 2021. Here we are going to cover ancillary industry news related to renewables, that is energy storage, hydrogen as a fuel, lithium ion batteries, recycling, solar components and other news. So let's get started. Battery recycling plant for Sweden. So new battery recycling process has been bought by a Swedish recycling business, and they are saying that this is a proprietary step, and they are saying that 95% of lithium ion battery materials will be recovered by using this step, and they will be using a circular kind of thing for lithium ion recycling facility. So fully redefined for the use in new products. Tesla expects to procure over US $1 billion of battery material from Australia every year. Every year, Tesla is going to buy battery material, raw material of $1 billion. So, Australia, as we all know, is rich in natural deposits of lithium, nickel, cobalt, and they are all naturally available in abundance in Australia. But due to the restrictions from the people of Australia voting against the mining issues, so now the Australian government has said that we'll be ethically mining these materials and selling this off to enhance the GDP of Australia. So Tesla has come forward and said that I'll buy $1 billion worth of raw material every year. So it will be used in the battery manufacturing for Tesla and giga factories of Tesla in Australia itself. And Australian government is going to benefit of about 1 billion Australian dollars every year, that is equivalent to 773 million USD dollars, and this will come from lithium ores and nickel ores. Mauneng is planning for 225 megawatt of installed capacity and 450 megawatt hour of big battery installation in Australia. So this is being done by Battery Energy Storage Station project by Gould Creek. So they are planning to compete or replace with the big Tesla battery that was first installed in the world. Anywhere it was the first battery project that was installed in the world, and it was in Australia. So again, this project is happening in Australia and it will be the biggest project, a single site of 194 megawatt hour, and they are calling it that this will be the biggest and it will power 40,000 households at peak hours. So 240 shipping containers will be used in this. Recycling, a key in the US quest for lithium ion battery supply chain relevancy. So US has put up a paper that they are saying that battery recycling is a must if we are planning to move towards battery storage and we are planning EVs. So we must plan a supply chain that is independent from any country, or they want to be self-reliant in the battery manufacturing. So the global lithium ion battery market is expected to grow about 40 billion US dollars in 2020 and 91.9 billion dollars by 2026. So Department of Energy of the US and Biden administration have identified the need to establish an end-to-end battery material and technology supply chain that supports long-term US goals and is able to compete economically with the world, and is going to create jobs and national security. So as we all know, China has a monopoly in silicon and China also has a monopoly in battery. So 80% of the world's lithium refining capacity is in China, and 60% for cobalt is in China. So more than one third of the global nickel refinement is also in China. So every country who is planning to move towards electric future, that is electric vehicles, electric storage, is dependent on China directly or indirectly. So US has launched that we want to be independent and we don't want to rely on anybody. So they have launched a paper. So I'll add the link. You can go read it. Gravita Group, it is an Indian-based group. They have set up a recycling plant in Africa, and this plant they installed for lead recycling and aluminium recycling. So they are recycling the lead from battery scrap, that is lead acid batteries, and aluminium from different scraps, and they are making lead ingots and aluminium ingots and selling it. So they have enhanced the capacity from 12,000 metric ton per annum to 16,200 metric ton per annum. Hydrogen stream news. Ineos to invest 25 million euros in Hydrogen One Fund. So Hydrogen One Fund is developed by the Norwegian government, and it is developed to assess how we can use hydrogen in the country's energy mix and country's fuel mix. So the Norwegian government has also devoted 2.5 million euros in a joint venture trying to develop a liquid organic hydrogen carrier solution for shipping, for especially for shipping industry. So this joint venture is done especially for shipping industry to use hydrogen, and they are saying that by the middle of this decade they'll be able to achieve some kind of solution that they are able to use liquid hydrogen in cargo shipping industry, that is a major part of logistics around the world. So Hydrogen One Fund is a big fund that a lot of countries and a lot of companies have come together in a PPP joint venture. PPP is private public partnership, and they are setting up electrolyzers, they are setting up research labs, they are setting up new innovations in hydrogen storage and hydrogen production. So another electrolyzer of 10 megawatt has been fired up by Shell in the Norwegian region. Goodwe has joined United Nations Global Compact Society. So as a leading renewable energy company, Goodwe will be abiding by the 10 principles, that is United Nations has put about 10 principles, that is take care of the environment, take care of the people, human rights, anti-corruption, you have to be ethically sourced, all these things. So I'll add the paper, you can go read it. India is exploring aluminium ion battery as demand for lithium spikes. So Indian government is planning to explore different compounds and different elements for battery needs and battery storage, because India doesn't have as much lithium resources in the country itself. So we are reliant on importing lithium. So aluminium ion batteries and aluminium air batteries, zinc air batteries are being talked about. Aluminium ions are provided by flowing from positive electrode of the battery to the negative electrode, and they are rechargeable. So Indian government with the help of Indian Oil and ISRO is planning to research and develop some kind of battery that is completely made in India. Australian government has backed new hydrogen research project. So this new hydrogen research project backed by Australia is for the common good of Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization, that is CSIRO. So all the Commonwealth countries will be benefiting from this research program. So they have pledged about 5 million US dollars, 5 million Australian dollars, that is 3.7 million US dollars, to support hydrogen research and accelerate the development of global clean hydrogen industry. So in this project also, all the Commonwealth countries are participating in a PPP model. So even they are inviting private businesses to collaborate and research in hydrogen and see how we can produce cheap hydrogen, add it as a fuel mix, as a commodity we can trade between ourselves, and we can rely on this source from renewable sources. So green hydrogen will be the future, and Japan has lent out the technology for electrolyzers and fuel cells. Japan is the major partner in this Australian federal government program. Expansion of battery training courses into France could benefit 1.5 lakh workers by 2025. So there is a online course that a battery industry has rolled out in Spain, and it will be introduced to France, and both the governments have signed a memorandum of understanding. So MOU has been signed, and the EU entity will be behind the skill course. So this is done for reskilling and upskilling of the current labor that is in the fossil fuel industry, so that they know when we are going to shift to the batteries, how to lead the industry. So this course is available online and I have checked it out, but I was not able to log in. So if anybody could help me out with the login credentials, it would be much appreciated. So yeah, this was a big news. PNNL, hydrogen energy storage at your service. So this model has been researched upon by Pacific Northwest National Laboratory. They have made a valuation tool that analyzes different energy storage technologies, as we covered in the innovation and research video. You can click here or here, I don't know, and watch that video. So a lot of countries are planning how to mix and optimize the resources and use it as a carbon neutral thing. So they are dependent on wind energy, solar energy, geothermal, and nuclear energy is in the mix. So they are exploring the power of mixing different resources. So PNNLL has come forward and they are saying that energy storage technology is a part and increasingly decarbonized energy system is required. So they have made a valuation tool that analyzes different energy storage technologies as part of integrated and increasingly decarbonized energy system. So it is a good article to read and their website is also very filled with facts. So if anyone wants to check it out, you must do that. Generac takes aim at microinverter market with Chilicon Power acquisition. So Chilicon Power is a microinverter manufacturer based in US, California, and they used to make microinverters and solar monitoring solutions. They used to make optimizers. So Generac is a big company and they are established in a lot of countries. So this deal is a good deal for Chilicon because Chilicon will be able to sell out their products easily in different markets with the help of Generac. GCC's distributed energy market propelled by rooftop solar PV. So GCC's we covered in international news video as well. You can click here and watch that. So Gulf Corporation Council has said that distributed energy is the future and they are gathering momentum with declining cost, resource availability and favorable policies, because now Gulf countries have allowed rooftop net metering of up to 2 megawatt. So a lot of people are opting for this distributed energy market and they are opting for it in a OPEX model. So this is encouraging to the customers to self-generate electricity and distribute it to the network, whatever excess they generate, and back into the grid. Buyback is at a good price. So it is transforming the current consumers in the Middle East region into prosumers. So they are producing electricity and also consuming electricity, which is a good news for Middle East country that is blessed with sunshine throughout the year. So this news came microgrids. As we all know, microgrids are very important in the energy mix and they are very important for rural power. So Smart Power India, that is a subsidiary of US based impact investor Rockefeller Foundation. As we all know, last month we covered Rockefeller Foundation pledged $1 billion for solar deployment in India. So this Smart Power India, supported by Rockefeller Foundation, has supported in setting up more than 300 renewable energy mini grids, accumulating to 9.2 megawatt of capacity across Bihar, UP and Jharkhand. So it is a large cluster and I don't know any other company who has done 300 microgrid projects. Tata Power is on the verge of doing it, but they have already done it and Tata Power is currently under development. So they are saying that microgrids, mini grids is the future where they are deploying 15 to 100 kilowatts of peak power installed capacity and battery storage, inclusive of battery storage, and they are electrifying 100 to 150 houses at an average, and they are saying this is productive for the users in the rural areas. China's Gangfeng gets green light for Argentina lithium plant. So China's Gangfeng Lithium is a subsidiary and it has received approval to build 20,000 tons per year lithium plant in Mariana project in northern Argentina. As we all know, Argentina and Chile are blessed with lithium mines and lithium ore. So they are saying that they will be using solar power to power their mine and mining operations. So Gangfeng is one of the world's top producers of lithium chemicals for electric vehicle and batteries, and recently it has obtained environmental impact report approval for the construction of plant in lithium salt lake project from Salta province. So as we all know, Chile and Argentina, they have a lot of lakes and the lithium ore, lithium brine, what we call, is found in those lakes. So it is mixed with the water. So lithium chloride is the solution and they will be producing lithium chloride produced from lithium brine projects, and they are saying we will make battery grade lithium carbonate and lithium metal. So which is a great news, and 20,000 tons per year is a huge amount. Okay, so this news has come from a privately funded, I'll highlight this, it is from a privately funded German think tank, Agora. They are saying that renewable fired hydrogen would not be cost competitive. Would not be cost competitive. Yes, you heard that right. With its fossil fuel powered equivalent, even at the European carbon price of 100 to 200 euros per ton. Right now, the European carbon price per ton is 30-40 euros. Now they are saying even if you quadruple the price to 200 euros per ton, it would not be competitive with a fossil fuel powered equivalent. And they have launched a 5 policies that are required to make green hydrogen affordable in Europe. And number one point is that European government must make policies and must spend rapidly and incentivize, subsidize, whatever you may call it, for the industry to opt for hydrogen. And this will be done by spending 25 billion euros per year. So they are calling for hydrogen to be initially used by the uncontroversial and no regret applications, including the production of steel, ammonia, basic chemicals, long haul flights, shipping, long term power storage, and residual heat load in the district heating system. So I think this was a very good paper presented by this think tank, and I am in support with this. So they clearly laid out a plan that first hydrogen should be adopted by the industry where the demand is very huge and the pollution criteria is very high. So steel production causes high level of carbon emissions, and they are saying hydrogen should be used there, and it would be feasible and it would be competitive to the fossil powered equivalent. So I think this is the right news. So another news from India, Signi Energy and Atero to tie up for responsible recycling of lithium batteries. So it is a good news for India, because in India we need to prepare for recycling as well if we are targeting an electric future. I myself keep my batteries together, and once a year I dispose all the batteries, because there are very few companies, very few factories recycling electric batteries or lithium ion batteries. So this is a good move, and India is expected to have in excess of 50 gigawatt hours in the next 5 years. So, and most of them, some of them would be decommissioned by next 10 years. So disposing of the used batteries in responsible manner is what is being targeted by Signi Energy. So good move. Air Liquide's technology chosen for world's largest hydrogen station in Beijing, China. So in last month, June week 4, we covered this news. Beijing was planning a liquid hydrogen plant that was, a refilling station. It was a refilling station for cars, for buses running in Beijing. And this is a pilot project. Beijing government has done a pilot project in an area of 2 lakh square meters. They are calling it International Hydrogen Energy Demonstration Zone, with an exhibition hall where you can go and check like what is hydrogen, how is hydrogen being produced, what are the use cases. So it is kind of a awareness project done by Beijing, China, and they have opted for Air Liquide Hydrogen Equipment Co Limited, a subsidiary of Air Liquide Group, and they have supplied 8 hydrogen dispenser units at Dajing station, and this is owned and operated by Beijing Hydropower. Uh, and this station will be the world's largest hydrogen station with a capacity of nearly 5 tons per day. 5 tons per day is a huge number. Like, what are the fueling buses? How many buses are the fueling? So big news, and I think more such pilot projects should be done in each country, each capital, so that a lot of people from tier 2 tier 3 cities travel to the capital and see how it's done and take it back to their cities. Good move for hydrogen awareness. Eni signs deal for hydrogen production in Egypt. So Eni is a state-owned Egyptian electricity holding company, and Egyptian natural gas holding company has also signed the deal, and it is to assess the feasibility of producing hydrogen in Egypt. So the Italian Energy Group said on the statement that they are exploring this with the Egyptian government in a PPP model, and it is a long marathon-like project where they'll be gradually, transitioning from oil and gas to hydrogen. So it is a long project, and they are saying that it will take time, but this is at the right moment. Okay, so that was the segment we covered for hydrogen. This is the segment for EVs and EV related news. So here we will be covering all the electric vehicle news, where we'll cover EV policy, launch, research, market insights, EV roadmaps. So let's get started. Nissan to invest 1 billion euros in EV and battery manufacturing. So Nissan, as we all know, was the first major car manufacturer that rolled out a EV. So everybody knows Nissan EV, Nissan Leaf, if you don't know. So that was the first majorly sold EV, and it was a great EV. And now they are saying that we will be investing 1 billion euros for a gigafactory, and they'll be creating 6,000 jobs. This is done in Europe for the carbon neutrality project. So as we all know, like Tesla faced a lot of lashback in China after the stocks tanked in China after the Auto Expo this year. So Chinese companies are increasingly threatening the EV market share of Tesla, and while all the electric vehicle manufacturers and their shares in China boomed, Tesla's tanked at 4%. So China is a hot market for EV and solar, so the room for stocks to grow is very high. So solar and EV stocks in China, if you are having a demat account on Hong Kong or Shenzhen exchange or on Shanghai exchange, this is the thing. Tesvolt invests in development of cable-free EV supercharging. So we all used to see the pilot projects or the research projects where a coil is placed on the road and a coil is placed in the car. So this is on the road, it is a transmitter coil, and on the car it is a receiver coil, like we charge our phones. So they are charging the electric vehicle while it's moving. So they are saying that it can be done, and they have made a small pilot where they are transmitting 44 kilowatt hour of power using wireless transmission. So this is a big news, and my opinion is this is not meant for cars or passenger vehicles. This is meant for public vehicles and buses, ferries. This is like electric trains. This is meant for those kind of applications because it is too dangerous for a passenger vehicle, but they are doing it. So they are saying short and fast bursts of charging, inductive transfer would be provided to the EV batteries placed in the car, and they can charge up to 44 kilowatt hour. Currently they are capping it at 3.3 kilowatts, but they have achieved 44 kilowatt hours. Big news. India is planning to set up institute to fund electric vehicle focused businesses. So Indian government, and as we all know, the Niti Aayog, they are very futuristic and forward thinking. So our minister Nitin Gadkari has also said that India needs to plan for setting up electric vehicle institutes in order to have more businesses established in the next decade. So they are saying we will use solar energy for charging batteries of electric vehicles, and they are saying that currently 69,000 petrol stations have electric vehicle charging facilities. I don't think so. So this study has been made by Niti Aayog and Rocky Mountain Institute. They are saying that end users are currently facing several challenges such as high interest rate, high insurance rate, and low loan to value ratios. And I agree because I myself find it very difficult in India to buy a EV at a cheap interest rate, and I'm waiting for it, but let's see how it goes. So 80%, they are saying that 80% of the vehicles sold after 2030 would be electric vehicles, and they want to plan an institute, government institute for it. EESL subsidiary CESL has rolled out a tender to impanel original equipment manufacturers to supply e-rickshaws across India. So this tender is currently open. Pre-bid meeting will take place on July 13th. So today is July 11th, and the pre-bid meeting will be on Tuesday, July 13th. And the meeting will discuss all the tender documents. So I'll add the link below so you can read the tender. Big news, Hyundai Motors to invest in Solid Energy Systems, a next gen battery company. So those who don't know, Solid Energy Systems is a startup from MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It was established in 2018, but now they have raised billions and billions of funds. So Hyundai has also said that they will invest 100 million US dollars in Solid Energy Corporation for developing lithium metal batteries, and they are saying that this deal will help us to use lithium metal and solid state batteries in our cars. Big news. So amazing news, after FAME 2, Ampere Electric has slashed the cost of its electric scooters in Gujarat by 27,000. So earlier their scooter used to cost 75,000, now it is costing 46,000. So amazing news given the scenario, current scenario. I am in Delhi, the petrol prices in Delhi have touched 100 rupee mark per liter. So it is a good news, and I think electric vehicles should be subsidized, the prices should be slashed all across India. Please make the electric vehicles cheaper in every state. because petrol prices are 100 rupees in India right now. Crazy. So another news, how e-mobility can power Thailand to net zero. So Thailand currently boasts of less than 10,000 electric vehicles, and they are saying that we need more electric vehicles on the road, and we need to also move away from the fossil fuel, because in Thailand also the fossil fuel cost have been raised. So they are saying that we need to target net zero. Another big news, like in last month we covered, Audi said Audi will not be making any more fossil powered vehicle after 2033. Again, a German car maker, Opel, that is owned by a group, uh, Peugeot. So Audi, Volvo, Peugeot, and Opel, they all have now made a pact, and Opel is also saying that we will not be making any more fossil fuel vehicles by 2028, and they are saying we will be making only electric vehicles after 2028. So their plan is to only make electric vehicles from starting from 2026, and on 2028 they will stop any fossil power vehicle, and they will not provide any service also. So amazing news. So if you have been watching till here, please like the video and subscribe. So I'll take a break and I'll have my dinner. Till then, you like, subscribe, and wait for the Indian news. So we'll be making the Indian news video and posting it soon. And do share with your industry friends so that they are also up to date in the ancillary and EV world, ancillary of renewable energy and the EV world. So like, subscribe, share, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.